All right, this is the Town of Monroe Board of Finance regular meeting. Today is Thursday, June 20th. It's 6 o'clock. This meeting will be recorded and made available on the town's website pursuant to state law. If you are attending remotely, please remember to mute your microphone unless you are speaking. Anyone participating remotely should state their name and title, if applicable, at the outset of each occasion that such person is speaking. All votes taken during which any member of this body is participating remotely shall be taken by roll call unless the vote is unanimous. The chat features will not be utilized nor considered during this meeting. So I'm going to do roll call. Catherine Stauffer.
Present.
Steve Kirsch.
Present.
Nick Sentimentes.
Here.
Samantha Spino.
Here.
Terry Rooney. Not here. Ron Banowski.
Here.
Heidi Mead.
Here.
Deb Heim. Not here. Frank Duchess.
Here.
Joe Cobza.
Here.
And then we have Brian. Okay, so the first,
Point of order, Madam Chair, before we go on. I have a point of order. As we're all aware, the position of chair on this board is now vacant because of the resignation of Mr. Manjos. This past Monday, June 17th at 11:26 a.m., an agenda was filed with the town clerk and subsequently distributed to all members of this board. Agenda item 2 stated vote on a, quote, vote on a new chair and potentially a vice chair. Agenda item 3 stated appoint a new pension committee member, unquote. Later at 2:51 p.m., an amended agenda was filed with the town clerk and subsequently distributed to all members of this board. This agenda no longer contains items 2 or 3. The effect of this change is to leave the position of chair vacant. Given that it was known that we were going to have a quorum so that we could handle the bonding resolutions, we met the only necessary requirement to hold a vote on a new chair. There is no requirement to have a full 6-person board or to have all members present in order to hold a vote. I am unaware of any necessary reason to delay filling the position of chair. Therefore, I'd like to have an explanation as to why the change of agenda was made and by whom.
Point of order, that's not on the agenda.
yeah, so it was removed. It was my decision to remove it, and I think that's all I want to say on that.
Okay.
Okay, so moving to the consent agenda. Is there any objection to passing the consent agenda as presented? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to pass the consent agenda as presented. Moving to communications. I would like to ask the communications A through E be incorporated to the meeting minutes. Okay, and then that moves us to public participation. For any member of the public that would like to participate, please be reminded to provide your name and address for the record if you would like to speak and come off mute.
So I see, I don't want to be out of order, but I see Kurt on the meeting and I didn't know if he wanted to speak during public participation regarding the WMNR budget. I don't think there were any questions, so. Do we need to remove him?
Kurt, you can *6 on your phone to unmute you.
I'm just here in case there are any questions. There weren't. Isn't that easy?
All right, so, and there's no one else, right, Heidi? Okay. Okay, so seeing and hearing no other comments, I'll close public participation. So new business. So is there a motion to waive the reading of the bonding resolution?
I make a motion to waive the reading of the bonding resolution.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it. We haven't introduced it yet. We haven't introduced the letter or the resolution before we waive the reading.
Okay, so
So that has to be
that
read.
has to be
Yeah.
read first?
Yeah, I've got the whole
I'm
pack,
sorry.
I've got the whole package.
Okay, so, all right. Sorry,
The following communication was received from the first selectman regarding the resolution authorizing an appropriation and bond authorization of $3,200,000 for the purchase of fire apparatus. Quote, June 6, 2024, to the town council, board of finance, and the legal voters of the town of Monroe. Pursuant to chapter 9 of the charter, I recommend the adoption of the resolution attached hereto and entitled, quote, resolution authorizing an appropriation of $3,200,000 for the purchase of fire apparatus and authorizing the issuance of the town's general obligation bonds in an amount not to exceed $3,200,000 to finance the appropriation. Very truly yours, Terrence P. Rooney, First Selectman. I will now introduce and read the following resolution. Resolved that the resolution entitled, quote, resolution authorizing an appropriation of $3,200,000 for the purchase of fire apparatus and authorizing the issuance of the town's general obligation bonds in an amount not to exceed $3,200,000 to finance the appropriation, unquote, a copy of which is available at this meeting and was included in the packet of meeting materials, is hereby approved and recommended for adoption by the town. I move to waive the reading of the entitled resolution and that its full text be incorporated into the minutes of the meeting.
second,
Someone second?
Rebecca, second.
okay, discussion? And then all in favor to waive the reading?
Aye.
Aye. So that is all in favor with 5 in favor.
I move that said resolution be adopted as introduced.
Second.
Discussion? No discussion. So,
Favor.
all in favor, yeah,
Aye.
Aye.
okay, passes 5 in favor.
Can I ask a quick question? Sam, you seconded both the waiving and
We can go.
Rebecca seconded the first.
you seconded the first one. Okay.
Okay, so now we introduce the second, right?
Yeah, new business item B.
New business 5E bonding for roads phase 11. Resolution authorizing an appropriation and bond authorization of $1,520,000 for the town's road construction and reconstruction phase 11 is available to the public and may be obtained at this meeting.
The following communication was received from the first selectman regarding the resolution authorizing an appropriation and bond authorization of $1,520,000 for the town's road construction and reconstruction phase 11 project. Quote, June 6, 2024, to the town council, board of finance, and legal voters of the town of Monroe. Pursuant to chapter 9 of the charter, I recommend the adoption of the resolution attached hereto and entitled, quote, resolution authorizing an appropriation of $1,520,000 for a road construction and reconstruction phase 11 project and authorizing the issuance of the town's general obligation bonds in an amount not to exceed $1,520,000 to finance the appropriation. Very truly yours, Terrence P. Rooney, First Selectman, unquote. I will now introduce and read the following resolution. Resolved, the resolution entitled, quote, "Resolution authorizing an appropriation of $1,520,000 for a road construction and reconstruction Phase 11 project and authorizing the issuance of the town's general obligation bonds in an amount not to exceed $1,520,000 to finance the appropriation," unquote, a copy of which is available at this meeting and was included in the packet of meeting materials, is hereby approved and recommended for adoption by the town. I move to waive the reading of the entitled resolution and that its full text be incorporated into the minutes of the meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. That's.
I move, yeah, that's just for it. I move that the said resolution be adopted as introduced.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. So this is now item 5C, bonding for trucks and equipment. The resolution authorizing an appropriation and bond authorization of $1,050,000 for the purchase of trucks and equipment is available to the public and may be obtained at this meeting.
The following communication was received from the first selectman regarding the resolution authorizing an appropriation and bond resolution of $1,050,000 for the purchase of trucks and equipment for the Department of Public Works. Quote, June 6, 2024, to the Town Council, Board of Finance, and the legal voters of the town of Monroe. Pursuant to Chapter 9 of the Charter, I recommend the adoption of the resolution attached hereto and entitled, quote, "Resolution authorizing an appropriation of $1,050,000 for the purchase of trucks and equipment for the Department of Public Works and authorizing the issuance of the town's general obligation bonds in an amount not to exceed $1,050,000 to finance the appropriation. Very truly yours, Terrence P. Rooney, First Selectman," unquote. I will now introduce and read the following resolution. Resolved that the resolution entitled, quote, "Resolution authorizing an appropriation of $1,050,000 for the purchase of trucks and equipment for the Department of Public Works and authorizing the issuance of the town's general obligation bonds in an amount not to exceed $1,050,000 to finance the appropriation," unquote, a copy of which is available at this meeting and was included in the packet of meeting materials, is hereby approved and recommended for adoption by the town. I move to waive the reading of the entitled resolution and that its full text be incorporated into the minutes of the meeting.
Catherine Stoffer, second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous.
I move that said resolution be adopted as introduced.
Any discussion?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The vote was unanimous. All right, new business 5D, bonding for DPW highway office renovations. The resolution authorizing an appropriation and bond authorization of $450,000 for renovations, upgrades, and roof replacement related to the Department of Public Works Highway Office is available to the public and may be obtained at this meeting.
The following communication was received from the first selectman regarding the resolution authorizing an appropriation and bond authorization of $450,000 for the renovation, upgrades, and roof replacements related to the Department of Public Works Highway Office. Quote, June 6, 2024, to the Town Council, Board of Finance, and the legal voters of the town of Monroe. Pursuant to Chapter 9 of the Charter, I recommend the adoption of the resolution attached hereto and entitled, quote, "Resolution authorizing an appropriation of $450,000 for renovations, upgrades, and roof replacement related to the Department of Public Works Highway Office, and authorizing the issuance of the town's general obligation bonds in an amount not to exceed $450,000 to finance the appropriation. Very truly yours, Terrence P. Rooney, First Selectman." I will now introduce and read the following resolution. Resolved that the resolution entitled, quote, "Resolution authorizing an appropriation of $450,000 for renovations, upgrades, and roof replacement related to the Department of Public Works Highway Office, and authorizing the issuance of the town's general obligation bonds in an amount not to exceed $450,000 to finance the appropriation," unquote. A copy of which is available at this meeting and was included in the packet of meeting materials, is hereby approved and recommended for adoption by the town. I move to waive the reading of the entire titled resolution, and that its full text be incorporated into the minutes of the meeting.
Catherine Stoffer, second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Votes unanimous.
I move that said resolution be adopted as introduced.
Second.
All, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Votes unanimous. So now we're moving on to the review of the fiscal year 2024 financial reports. Ron, I think I'll just ask you first if there was anything that you wanted to highlight.
You know, at this point, you know, Heidi's reviewing a lot of the department budgets, I think DPW in particular, you know, we may have to move money around or have to charge the county road grant. Typically, what we have him do is.
Once again today,
Once we budget to make sure the budget gets absorbed in the county road money, which can get.
Yes, breaking the old record of 97.7.
Dad, can you mute yourself?
It's the hottest day, and why not?
Okay.
So other than that, you know, I'm not gonna approach the revenue subject. Anyone have any specific questions?
Are you looking okay for year end in
Yeah.
terms of getting invoices in and everything and?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, so that process, I mean, POs need to be in place by June 30th.
Mhm.
I mean, invoices will be, you know.
Yeah.
We'll be looking to close the POs in July and August. Yeah, we'll do some chasing for sure.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Okay. All right.
Any other questions? On either the general fund budget reports or the fund activity statements for Monroe Public Schools?
I think, do you want?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, just, thank you. Just want to keep everybody apprised and probably be a little bit more specifics, but we were looking at a surplus at the end. I think at the end of the year, we talked about this. I think in the previous meeting to this one, you know, we're obviously looking to use those, to spend those funds as responsibly as possible, possibly picking off some of the smaller capital projects that we have, or maybe even purchasing some of the equipment that we needed or pre-purchasing some spots for next year.
Okay.
And how did special ed end up?
So they still need to close some purchase, they're still writing some purchase orders.
Okay.
But they still need to evaluate some open POs for transportation in particular. So some stuff might be liquidating and they might not be using it. So it's still a moving target, but overall, it looks okay.
When is the next Board of Ed meeting?
The next meeting is scheduled for, I think if it's Monday, it's July 17th, if that's a Monday.
So we're gonna have one in July?
There should be one in July. I'm actually not gonna be there. I'm not really aware of that week.
So will they be closed by then, or they'll go further into the summer in terms of?
Yeah, well, I
Wrapping up.
mean,
Usually it's August, right?
Yeah, we need numbers to file with the state by August first, so there'll be, I don't wanna say there won't be adjustments after that, but it'll be pretty close to 100% at that point.
Okay, but the board of Ed have adjustments to make
Yes,
at the July meeting.
yes.
And, oh, sorry, go ahead.
You go.
And you still have projects lined up for this summer from last fiscal year, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And then the process around like, when there's a surplus, like what is, just general question, what is the process around like figuring out how to reallocate that? Do
It
we
all
have to
comes
approve
back to the
anything
town.
or,
Mhm.
and then, or is there?
It's under the purview of the board.
And then we
Okay.
can, okay.
Having said that, since I've been in the joint position, I look at it as, I'm looking at it in its totality,
Mhm.
with the town and,
Mhm.
what Joe didn't mention is there's some legislation coming down the pipe, that I know, Representative Scott is aware of, some right to read legislation, which is gonna have a budget hit 2 years out to the tune of like, estimated, 300,000?
Yeah.
So.
It'll be next year's when we prepare our budget.
Budget
This
for next
fall.
year, so it'll be a 25-26 impact, so one of the thoughts right now is to possibly put some money, have this board put some of that surplus aside, which would, to tackle that.
That'll come in. It'll be something they bring to us.
Yes, that'll be after the
Use money
surplus,
or
whatever.
okay, we have the surplus, now this is, we'd
When it
like
comes
this
back to
money
the town.
transferred if possible for this reason.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
then we would review it and
And that's not just Board of Ed though, right? That's all around. So like
That's
the,
for, so.
the motor vehicle offset for the mill rate cap, isn't it happening for that too? The
The-
2-year? You know how we get money from the state for the mill rate cap?
Yeah, we budget for that.
But is
You-
it going to be a 2-year hit like the schools?
When you say a 2-year hit, I'm not sure.
Well, maybe I'm misunderstanding then.
You think in 2 years, there's going to be a hit. So
Okay,
we should put money away from the surplus now.
so would it be the same thing with with like the state aid we get for things like that?
Well, I know ECS is going to be the education cost sharing. I'm not sure that I'm aware that the motor vehicle taxes,
Mhm.
you're saying that's gonna be rolling off?
I don't know, I'm asking.
Okay,
I haven't
okay.
heard anything. I actually
Okay.
just printed out like a whole stack of past legislation that I have to read through.
Okay.
So I'll get the answer.
Yeah, because I'm not aware that is happening.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
okay.
surprise me, nothing would surprise me.
Mhm.
So-
That just like made a light bulb go off in my head that maybe it's all. I'll find out.
Okay,
So on the legislative front, there was at one point a discussion of Board of Education's being able to maybe now hold their own surplus as opposed to returning it to the town. It used to be you returned it to the town and then the board had to come to the town and ask to spend it in a certain, manner. And then there
so
was.
Joe and I have discussed that. I think that is I don't think that's
I said, did that legislation pass?
I believe it did pass, but that's not our relationship with this board, I don't think warrants that. And I don't think that would be in the best interests of anyone.
Mhm.
Okay.
But.
I
what
agree.
part? Unless you can more
Them
perspective.
keeping it,
Yeah, okay, like the board.
and having their own
Mhm.
reserve fund
Mhm.
outside of our purview.
Yeah, I can only speak for myself, I think that would be short-sighted.
Mhm.
In terms of the working relationship.
I think we've had a very good relationship.
Developed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I wondered if it had passed and what the thought was of the administration, because I don't think it's been, any action's been taken by the board itself. And either to say yay or nay. Okay.
monthly report of the tax collector, Deb?
Yes, we're doing pretty good. We're just wrapping up the
Hey,
year.
Deb, we can't
Tax
hear you.
bills
Hang on
are
one
I
going-
second.
can't hear you.
What's that?
Can't hear you. Can't hear us.
We're turning up the volume.
Oh, okay. Yeah, our numbers look pretty good. We already hit budget and we are looking at a surplus. We also, bills will be going out next Thursday in the mail, hopefully. I approved the, proofs and everything, so everything looks like on schedule and hopefully more money will come in and then we'll be starting the new year off right.
Do you accept advanced collections?
What's that?
Do you accept advanced collections?
Our auditors don't allow advanced collections.
Okay, thank
It's
you.
not, we don't have it set up with finance for advanced collections.
That is okay. I know every town is different.
Yeah, we don't have it set up for, our finance department to do advanced collections.
All good.
All right, any other questions for Deb?
Any other questions?
Nope.
No.
All right, moving on to the monthly report from the treasurer, Frank.
First thing I'd like to cover is that on June 11th, we had the S&P bond rating meeting. Working with our outside advisor, Ron and Heidi really put together a great program. Terry participated, IT participated, I participated. I think they were very pleased with what the town showed. And though we won't know for what is it, 20?
Oh, wait a minute, you can have somebody.
Yeah, so-
Oh, I'm not allowed to say this.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
I apologize, Frank.
That-
I did not
my
actually
mistake.
talk to you. I
Okay.
spoke with Bill Lindsay, probably about an hour and a half ago.
Oh,
They reaffirmed our AAA rating.
okay. Well, that's where I was getting to. I thought it was going now.
We have to review the report tomorrow morning.
Okay.
At 9 o'clock. We have a couple hours to review it.
Okay, yeah.
That was a change that caught everyone off guard, but they reaffirmed the rating, so.
All right, good.
It was supposed to be, as Frank was saying, it was supposed to be early next week.
Yeah, well.
And do we post that on the web someplace?
We post the rating report on the finance page.
Okay. I thought we someplace, but I didn't remember where.
Yeah, the team did a really nice job. Again, our advisor, they provided us with most of the talking points, the questions, and the team put together a really nice presentation back, and I think it was appreciated by S&P.
Was there anything that they asked that we had issues with or trouble answering
No,
or?
we were actually probably ahead of the game in terms of being there with the IT and security. They had some questions on the investments, which again, we had a heads up on, so we were prepared to address that. And I think just the numbers that, the finance team and the Board of Finance manage were really pretty stellar in terms of presentation.
What did they ask us about our investments? What was their concern?
No, they just wanted to know what your philosophy was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in terms, there was no concern whatsoever.
Okay.
They appreciated the fact that we exceeded our expectations in most categories, so, okay. That was just one thing, and Ron, I had. No problem, I came walking in 2 minutes before the meeting. Just in terms of other things, the stiff rate remains very stable, 5.42%. It's gone up and down, 0.1% in the last several months. Over the month, we had $241,000 of interest, puts us at just about 2.8 for the year, which if we look at full year, because again, the numbers go down a little bit as you get closer to June. But I would say we're still going to be in that 3 million plus or minus 100,000 in terms of the overall interest for the year. We did roll over 2.25 million of bonds, which are going back into treasuries. If you look at where we are projecting into next year, the most recent Fed meeting, they were projecting 1 interest rate cut this year. The market's saying maybe 2. But if you look at that, that still has us on the positive sides of things in terms of where we're going for our fiscal year 25 budget. That's what I have.
Thank you, Frank.
All good news there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
About the year strong.
Motion to adjourn.
I move.
My second.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.